the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, rose the greatest city the world had ever known. Babylon, 600 years before Christ. For 4,000 years, the Code of Hammurabi had stood as humanity's first written law, a testament to civilization's birth. The Tower of Babel reached toward heaven, a ziggurat older than empires, witnessing the rise and fall of kings. Knowledge was preserved in clay, 3,000 years of accumulated wisdom pressed into tablets by hands long turned to dust. This is the story of three souls. First, Arad, chief architect. 70 years of wisdom lived in those eyes. Amytis, queen of Babylon. Beautiful, powerful, and utterly heartbroken. And Nebuchadnezzar II, the most powerful king on earth, who could conquer nations, but could not conquer his wife's tears. In the royal library, 2,000 years of knowledge waited, including the secret that would change everything. The Babylonians had mapped the stars, calculated the movements of planets, but no one had ever tried to move a mountain. Every evening, Amytis would stand on her terrace and look west, toward the mountains of Media, toward home. Her hands gripped the stone until her knuckles turned white. Longing is a pain that leaves no wound. She remembered the mountains, the cool air, the forests, the rivers. Everything Babylon was not. A single tear. In the desert heat, even tears turned to dust. In his throne room, the king studied his impossible problem. He could command armies, but he could not command her happiness. And so, the architect was summoned. Through the Ishtar Gate, past the guardian bulls, to answer an impossible question. Arad's workshop held the accumulated knowledge of 20 generations. Every problem eventually found its solution here. Ancient tablets. Sumerian hydraulic engineering. 3,000 years old.
A mountain that reaches the heavens.
Still readable.
But the plans, your majesty,
Still
the sheer scale of it.
revolutionary. The king's command was simple: build a mountain. In the desert, make it green, make it live. The architect's burden was clear: make the impossible possible. Nebuchadnezzar offered unlimited resources. Arad asked for something more difficult: time and faith. The answer lay in forgotten knowledge, Akkadian irrigation formulas, methods lost when empires fell, but preserved in clay. Night after night, the architect worked, calculating, measuring, designing something that had never been attempted. The first lines on papyrus, a vision taking form, terraces rising, water flowing upward, a garden in the sky, 10,000 workers, stonemasons, engineers, laborers, the largest construction project since the tower itself. Every great structure begins the same way, with violence against stone, with sparks, with determination. The Euphrates carried the materials of empire:
Erect this monument to stand
white limestone,
1,000 generations.
cedar from Lebanon, bronze from Cyprus, all flowing to Babylon, bitumen from the tar pits, hot, viscous, waterproof. The same material that sealed Noah's Ark would seal these foundations. The walls were hollow, chambers within chambers, an ancient technology that would allow moisture to drain and roots to breathe. Arad pointed upward, always upward. The workers saw a pile of stone. The architect saw a mountain rising. And slowly, impossibly, the terraces took form. 75 feet above the desert floor, a monument to one woman's homesickness. The greatest challenge, water. In the desert, water is life, and life must be lifted. Bronze gears, chain pumps, technology that wouldn't be seen in Europe for another 1,000 years. Babylon already knew. Men turned the wheels, in shifts, day and night, eternal rotation, eternal labor. For one woman's tears, and the water rose. Against gravity, against nature. Drop by precious drop, climbing toward the sky. From above, the channels formed a pattern. Mathematical, precise, every channel calculated to deliver exactly the right amount of life. The system required constant maintenance. A single crack could doom an entire section. Vigilance was survival. When the water flowed smoothly at last, the old architect allowed himself the smallest smile. The mathematics had held. The ancients had been right. From across the empire they came. Camels loaded with life. Seeds, saplings, flowers, the botanical wealth of 3 continents. The cedars of Lebanon, ancient, sacred, trees that had witnessed the birth of civilization, now exiled to Babylon. The gardeners consulted Sumerian agricultural texts. 3,000 years of accumulated botany. The ancients understood. Every plant has its place. The lowest terrace, shade-loving ferns, moss, plants that thrived in dampness. An ecosystem planned to the last leaf. The middle terrace, fruit trees, pomegranate, fig, olive, food from the Garden of Eden, planted in the Garden of Babylon. And the highest terrace, wildflowers from the mountains of Media, brought across 500 miles, so one woman could remember home. When Nebuchadnezzar saw it complete, something changed in his eyes. The warrior king smiled. Love makes fools of us all, even emperors. Word spread through the palace in whispers. Something impossible had been built. The servant spoke of miracles. The king led his wife through the corridors, her eyes covered, her hand in his. Trust is the foundation of love. Step by step, through halls of stone, toward the sound of water in the desert. And then she saw it. These were different tears. Joy can hurt as much as sorrow. She climbed through levels of green, past waterfalls that shouldn't exist, into a paradise that defied every law of nature. Her mountain, in Babylon, the Greek travelers came, scholars, historians. They had seen the pyramids, the temples, but nothing like this. They wrote of 7 wonders. The gardens of Babylon would be remembered as the most beautiful and the most mysterious. From above, it defied belief. A mountain of green, 75 feet high, in a city of mud brick. Impossible, and yet, real. The architect lived long enough to see his work complete, to see the impossible made stone and leaf. Their names were carved together, king and queen, in stone, in history, forever. Love built the gardens. Love maintained them for as long as love lasted. But gardens are not eternal. They require constant care, constant labor, constant hope. Nebuchadnezzar died in 562 BC, and with him, something died in Babylon. The Persians came in 539 BC. New masters, new priorities. Gardens were not among them. The water wheels stopped turning. First one, then another, then all. Without water, the desert reclaims everything. The green turned brown. The living died. Earthquakes finished what neglect began. The terraces collapsed. The walls crumbled. Paradise became dust. Alexander the Great visited the ruins in 331 BC. He wept. Even conquerors mourn beauty lost. Today, archaeologists dig, searching for proof of what ancient writers described, searching for the gardens, and piece by piece, they find it. Clay pipes, waterproof cement, exactly as described, 2,600 years later. What was and what is, glory and dust. But the dust remembers. Modern architects study the ancient designs, hydraulic engineering that rivals our own. They built for eternity. We build for decades. Today, vertical gardens rise in Singapore, in Milan, in cities across the world. The ancients showed us green can exist anywhere if you want it badly enough. Their irrigation principles still work. Drip systems, gravity flow, nothing wasted. The desert people understood water is life. Arid's wisdom echoes. Build for those who come after. Build for beauty. Build for love. Amytis found her peace in a garden that shouldn't exist, in a love that moved mountains. And Nebuchadnezzar proved the greatest power is not conquest, it is the power to create. This was Babylon at its peak, the greatest city in the world, 600 years before Christ.
Yes, my love.
And they built wonders,
An impossible gift.
the gardens of eternity. Silent Babylon, where ancient civilizations speak,